Lately, at awards ceremonies, on charts, and in the news, you may constantly be seeing the same name, Stray Kids. It's clear that Stray Kids have experienced an incredible rise in recent years. In terms of global sales, tour success, and the power of their fans, they have now transformed into a group recognized all over the world. So what lies behind this love and growth? Let's talk about that today. First of all, those who don't know Stray Kids can watch the video where I explain the group's story. Emerging through a survival show in 2018, this group has now become a star that breaks records on the Billboard charts, owns the best-selling album in Korea in 2025, fills stadiums with the Dominati World Tour, and is listed among the biggest K-pop groups in the world. So what happened to this group that was constantly criticized, attacked, and torn apart when they first debuted that suddenly made them the favorite of millions? Let me explain right away. Now, first of all, I think one reason they are loved so much is that Stray Kids possess a kind of originality that is rarely seen in K-pop. Some of the members write, compose, arrange the songs, and even create the choreography themselves. But most groups generally receive outside support for lyrics, have someone else create the choreography, and work with other people for the instrumental production. In other words, the most expert people in their fields come together to ensure the song will definitely be a hit, and at the end of the day, instead of producing a work of art, they produce a product that has the potential to be liked by everyone. But because Stray Kids produce their own music, their songs are not the same as everyone else's in the industry. They have a side that truly reflects them. Because of this, the songs feel more sincere. Those of you who remember will recall that when the group first debuted, many people criticized them by saying they made noisy music. If you've listened to one or two Stray Kids songs, you understand what they meant by noisy music. However, over time, these criticisms turned into their signature. Today, if many 4th and 5th generation groups are making more experimental music, Stray Kids have had a major influence on that. And the style they called noisy music actually has a very large audience. For example, I personally really like Stray Kids' style. They truly brought something different to the industry. Another important point about the group, in my opinion, is how amazing their choreographies are. These 8 members literally transform into monsters on stage. They are incredibly energetic and suit the stage perfectly. As far as I know, they don't use playback on stage. Everything is live. And this year, the group's concerts really became a huge topic. With their Dominati World Tour, the group generated over $185.7 million in revenue, making it the highest grossing K-pop tour of 2025. By the way, I was surprised by this information because I thought Blackpink had earned more with their Deadline World Tour, but friends, Blackpink's concert revenue has not been officially announced yet. We'll talk again once the official data is released. The year 2025 was not only a year of success for Stray Kids, but also a year in which the group's global visibility increased. From album sales to box office records, from Billboard achievements to social media power, the group significantly expanded its influence both commercially and culturally. Now, if we're going to talk about the group's achievements, I think we should definitely start with their newly released film. First, let me ask you a question. Who has gone to see Stray Kids movie that is currently in theaters? Write it in the comments. If this video gets 3,202 likes, I'll make a separate video about the details of the film. Alright, if you've written it, I'm starting to explain. The concert film centered on Stray Kids' SoFi Stadium concert in Los Angeles ranked first worldwide at the global box office during its opening weekend. The film was released in 61 countries and reached an opening gross of over approximately $19 million. Thus, it became the first K-pop concert film to reach #1 at the global box office. The director of this film is Paul Dugdale, who has directed live performance films for global stars such as Adele, Taylor Swift, Coldplay, and the Rolling Stones. For the Grammy, BAFTA, and Emmy award-winning director, this project became his first K-pop work. The group's biggest recent achievement was that their album Karma became South Korea's best-selling album of 2025. According to Circle Chart 2025, Karma topped the year-end list as the best-selling album of 2025 with 3,397,810 copies sold. Thus, Karma became the only K-pop album to surpass the 3 million mark in 2025. And honestly, this is truly an incredible achievement, friends. Let's see whether their album this year will be able to surpass this success. Additionally, the group ranked 3rd on the year-end list with their Do It EP. In other words, in 2025, the 1st and 3rd best-selling albums in Korea belonged to Stray Kids. According to Circle Chart 2025 data, the group achieved total album sales of over 7 million copies throughout the year and became the artist with the highest number of album certifications. And of course, there are also their Billboard achievements. Until now, BTS and Stray Kids were the K-pop groups with the most #1 albums on the Billboard 200 chart. However, when Stray Kids' album Karma entered the chart at #1, that tie was broken. Thus, Stray Kids became the K-pop group with the most #1 albums in Billboard 200 history. But that's not all. The group broke another another incredible record. With their Do It EP released last November, they debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, marking their 8th consecutive #1 debut. In doing so, they became the only music group in Billboard 200 history to have their first 8 albums all debut at #1. Let me repeat that: not a K-pop group, not an Asian group, not a boy group, but the only music group among all groups worldwide to achieve this. BTS follows them with 6 #1 albums, and this record was broken for the first time in the 69-year history of the Billboard 200. Of course, these achievements are directly connected to the group's physical and digital album sales in the American market. In 2025, Stray Kids' album Karma became the second best-selling album in the United States, while their Do It album ranked as the 4th best-selling album. We've talked a lot about Stray Kids' achievements, but of course, there's also the power of their fans. Stray Kids fans are truly one of the most dedicated fan communities I've seen in a long time. According to 2025 year-end social media analysis, Stray Kids became the most talked about music group of the year worldwide on the platform X with 45.7 million posts. Justin Bieber ranked second with 11.2 million posts, while Cardi B followed with 10.1 million posts. As you may have noticed, there is almost a 4-fold difference between Stray Kids and Justin Bieber, who ranked second. The next record is related to a song that I personally love very much. The group's 2020 release, God's Menu, surpassed 500 million streams on Spotify, making Stray Kids the first 4th-generation boy group to achieve this milestone. I truly think this song is incredibly iconic, and I absolutely love its music video. Finally, let's wrap up by talking about the group's concert tour from last year. This was definitely not a simple tour. They generated massive revenue and broke major records. For example, according to Billboard's Top Tours of 2025 list, Stray Kids ranked 10th with their Dominate World Tour. The tour, which took place between October 2024 and September 2025 and consisted of 31 concerts, generated a total of $185.7 million in revenue. Approximately 1.3 million tickets were sold, and Stray Kids became the first K-pop artist to perform at 11 different venues. This tour was recorded as the biggest concert organization in the group's history to date. Among Stray Kids' recent global stage achievements, their upcoming appearance on June 6, 2026 at the Governor's Ball Music Festival in New York holds a special place. The group will become the first K-pop group to perform as a headliner on the festival's main stage. Governor's Ball is considered one of the most important music festivals in the United States, hosting some of the world's leading names in pop, hip-hop, rock, and electronic music. Stray Kids' placement near the top of this festival is a remarkable development not only for the group itself but also in terms of K-pop's positioning at major Western festivals. In the group's 2026 schedule, not only Governor's Ball but also the Rock in Rio festival in Brazil is included. Stray Kids, who will take the stage in September, have also become headliners at this prestigious festival. In addition, Stray Kids performed at one of France's prestigious charity events. At the moment, Stray Kids and ENHYPEN stand out as 4th-generation K-pop representatives in 2025, and many industry experts are referring to Stray Kids as the BTS of the future. In my opinion, Stray Kids have been standing out recently because they produce most of their own music, try different and original things, are always sincere in front of the camera, and interact with their fans like friends. And if you ask whether they deserve this, I think they absolutely do. After the earthquakes that occurred in Turkey in 2023, when the members made donations and shared messages of support on social media, this group honestly started to hold a different place in my heart. Yes, at that time, many groups and idols donated to Turkey and sent their well wishes, and I sincerely thank all of them. But during that period when Changbin saw his own photo on the phone screen of a child affected by the earthquake and said, "I felt like what was happening there also belonged to me," that truly moved me. If we can feel the same pain under the same sky, then we are human. If we can understand and feel someone else's pain regardless of religion, language, or race, I think that is something very precious. Look, I got emotional again. I guess now is the perfect time to end the video. I've been the one talking the whole time, but I'm also curious about your thoughts on Stray Kids. Do you think Stray Kids could become the BTS of the future? Write your thoughts in the comments. Until the next video, take very good care of yourselves. Goodbye.